going? Tunaelekea wapi? Pads ni kitu nafai kuwe affordable. Kuna watu ambao hawajiwezi huko nje. Sawa, huyo anayejiita sijui Karen Nyamu alisema yeye anatumia tampons. It's okay for her, lakini if we have women using the common sense that she is using, we are going nowhere in this community. That is why watu wengi hawataki wanawake kwa serikali ama kwa cheo, maana vitu kama hizo.
We here at Mombasa, we never saw anybody coming to us with the recommendation of the finance bill or the proposals. And the proposals that are there, actually they don't meet the threshold of Kenyans. Kenyans, we are still struggling with our economy. We are still yet to recover from post-COVID. We are still to recover from electoral injustice that happened. And then we are being topped up with another burden of this finance bill.
They were, however, dispersed by police who lobbed tear gas on them. They, however, reassembled and stood firm as they headed towards Central Police Station. Despite the police lobbing tear gas, the youth were unmoved and continued chanting patriotic songs.
Hii ni peaceful demonstration. Hakuna mtu mwenye ako na silaha, but wametupiga na wameturushia tear gas na bado hatujakoma. Watuwekee flavor za orange mint, si pilipili.
Power belongs to the people and the servant belongs to the people, and therefore we are here to reject this finance bill that was amended or was partially amended without proper participation of common citizens.
It was a hide-and-seek kind of a game, as the protesters engaged the police in running battles in various roads within the CBD before they allowed them to continue with the demonstration without tear-gassing them. The demonstrators have vowed to continue with demonstration all over the country come tomorrow. Frederick, K24, Mombasa.
The Data Protection Commissioner has warned against the unauthorized distribution of personal information on social media as MPs complain of an influx in text messages and calls from citizens urging them to vote down the finance bill. This even as President William Ruto affirmed Kenyans' right to participate in protests, saying it was well within their rights. David Kagina with more.
Many MPs have been forced to switch off their phones owing to an increasing number of texts and calls urging them not to vote in favor of the Finance Bill 2024. This is after contacts of many of them got shared online in a wave of social activism against the bill.
I know, and I know many of these members, including myself, we have suffered a lot of harassment. And I was asking the leader of minority this morning whether he has suffered the same. And he told me his phone is worse. Many of these members of parliament today, Honorable Speaker, you cannot reach them on their phones because they have blocked their phones, including WhatsApp. But this is the beauty of our democracy, Honorable Speaker.
To this effect, the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner has issued a cautionary statement on sharing of personal data. The ODPC says sharing phone numbers, names, location and details of family members without consent is contrary to the provisions of Article 31 of the Constitution of Kenya, the Data Protection Act of 2019 and its attendant regulations, inviting those whose privacy has been violated to file their complaints with the Commission. Meanwhile, President William Ruto says Kenyans protesting are within their constitutional rights, which is part of a healthy democracy. The ball of what will and will not be passed is in the court of the legislators.
Civil society is free to do what they want to do. We are a democratic country. We have no problem. Those who want to demonstrate, they can demonstrate. It is their right. No problem. But the decisions have to be made by institutions. We will make decisions as the executive. Now Parliament will go and do their thing and make sure that we move it into the future. And if there are any issues, we have a judiciary that also helps us to make sure that they interpret situations appropriately.
This comes even as the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions dropped charges against Boniface Mwangi and 4 others who were being charged for creating disturbance in a manner likely to cause a breach of peace and unlawful assembly, citing that the evidence presented did not meet the threshold to proceed with the prosecution.
So now we are only left with one question. If the DPP has no intention of charging them and they have a constitutional duty to carry out prosecution in this country, then what are these persons doing under the police custody? 24 hours are already over. They were arrested yesterday at 3 p.m.
The government and the IG, please let us respect the law of the land. That is why it is there.
Tourism Cabinet Secretary Alfred Mutua, however, blamed the protesters for an incident in which a police officer injured himself with a tear gas canister after failing to throw it towards the protesters in time after detonating.
That man is a father of somebody, a child in this country. Is a husband of somebody, has been disabled in the line of duty by these demonstrators. Nyinyi wasichana na vijana mnapo demonstrate hapo na kupigana na polisi. You have caused this man, a human being like you. How do you feel that that man is disabled if it was you?
Waves of protests against finance bill continued today in Mombasa, with there being talks of such protests being witnessed in different parts of the country on Thursday as the MPs get to the third reading of the bill ahead of the voting on Tuesday and Wednesday next week. David Kagina, K24, Nairobi.
The private sector has welcomed the scrapping off of various tax proposals by the government as had been contained in the Finance Bill 2024. This comes as President William Ruto bowed to pressure from dropping some tax proposals, including a 16% value-added tax on bread, transportation of sugar, financial services and foreign exchange transactions.
Kenya Private Sector Alliance has lauded the government for considering some of their concerns on the 2024 proposed bill. KEPSA CEO Carol Kariuki, however, stated that some 6 major issues are yet to be part of the amendments on the bill.
All the proposals that were done, whether by private sector, by citizens, by civil society, 16 of those proposals seem to have been, at least from the press release we saw yesterday by the Finance Committee, they were either scrapped or changed in one or another, and we are hoping they will hold when the full parliament sits.
On his part, John Gashora, who is in charge of macroeconomic environment and finance, hinted that the proposed VAT on the banking sector would be a huge burden to Kenyans. Gashora further insisted on the need not to levying a tax upon another tax.
The VAT that was being introduced or proposed is not on banks, because I think there has been that misleading statement. It's not on banks at all. Banks, as you heard from the chairman, pay some of the highest taxes in this country, and we shall continue to do so. So we are not fighting about banks paying taxes. The issue was that this VAT was going to be levied on our customers, is a direct cost to our customer. Let me break it down to you. It means that if you go to an ATM, you withdraw money, we have to charge you VAT for withdrawing your money.
On the issue of edible oil, KEPSA made it clear that the industry has a capacity to produce extra products for consumption in the country. As at now, the country produces around 2.2 million tons capacity of edible oil, yet the demand stands between 800,000 to 900,000 tons annually. The alliance, however, noted that the proposed finance bill would have the edible oil industry increase the prices of the product, causing pain to Kenyans.
The impact of the finance bill as it was proposed initially was a 25% excise duty, coupled with the clause that says excise duty cannot be offset if you have input and the output cannot be offset. This would have made the industry increase its cost to taxation by 66.5%. The impact would have been to the consumer out there. The consumer price would have gone down from 4,000 shillings today to 6,800 shillings per jerrycan.
Out of the issues tabled by KEPSA, only 6 are yet to be addressed. These include issues on manufacturing, capital markets, agriculture, tourism, land and housing. Anthony Kwemoi, K24 TV.
President William Ruto and Prime Cabinet Secretary have endorsed the proposal to have the United Democratic Alliance and the Amani National Congress parties merge. President Ruto says the move is a step in the right direction as it will allow for the formation of national unity and strong democratic governance and not mere election vehicles. And as Electa Odera now reports, the move may ignite reactions from other parties in the Kenya Kwanza coalition, taking into account the ever-evolving political landscape in the country.
It is clear that the much-touted merger of Kenya Kwanza coalition parties may be closer than expected. To set the stage, the Amani National Congress has endorsed a merger with the United Democratic Alliance under President Dr. William Ruto.
You are safer, and I believe you are safer working with him than being out in the wilderness. Embrace this moment.
According to Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, ANC members and officials will be part of the bigger formation in what will clamor for inclusivity.
Kweli, mnaona inaweza kuwa haki. Mimi niko Prime Cabinet Secretary, alafu tena mimi nasimamisha candidate kupingana na yule ameweka kidole ya mimi kuwa Prime. It is a serious conflict of interest.
President Ruto, on his part, indicated that it was time that parties were grounded on strong foundations of national unity and consolidating democracy with the aim of promoting national cohesion.
We want to make sure that we compete on issues. The same way today we have our beliefs on where we think Kenya should go. The others have a belief on where they think Kenya should go. As we believe that the country should be on the solid foundation of moving into the future, making sure that our institutions work, they believe in whatever they believe.
The Amani National Congress top brass at the same time intimated that the move was timely as it will define the political future directions.
Ultimate goal should not be just merging parties, but merging visions, aspirations, and futures.
The merger by amalgamation, as indicated by party leader Lamu Governor Issa Timami, will see a new party formed and both UDA and ANC arrest.
I have no doubt in my mind that this idea is one whose time has come.
And so the decision you're making today and the journey we are starting today is a journey that takes courage, musiuziwe uoga tena, and a journey that will put us in power beyond President William Ruto.
Pundits claim that given the makeup of political parties in the nation, other Kenya Kwanza affiliates, such as Ford Kenya, have already shown a lukewarm willingness to combine with the Kenya Kwanza. This will serve as a litmus test.
Mheshimiwa Wetangula, tafadhali fata barabara ya Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi.
Of the over 10 parties that now make up the Kenya Kwanza coalition, only the Amani National Congress has made it clear that it intends to join forces with UDA in the merger. Electa Odera, K24 TV.
Are you a and Kameme TV, your gospel church fellow? Book your slot today. Call Fred 102 0722 475102.
Cheza